Vinnie Tortorich here. Hey man, if you're a fan of Izzy, you might be a fan of me too. I'm the guy that gets people to lose a lot of weight. I have something free for you guys. This is no clickbait. Just go to VinnieTortorich.com and there's a big banner. It's a free PDF, how to lose weight. It's an intro guide to NSNG at VinnieTortorich.com. Go check it out exclusively for anyone who listens to Izzy Presley. Thank you.
Rockwood Saloon Authentic Apparel takes rock and roll fashion to a new level with their tees and tanks for men and women. They also make custom shirts, jackets, vests, pants, hoodies, beanies, and more. The Rockwood Graphics Department can design anything from your logo, t-shirt design, promo posters, band swag, and printed at great prices. From tour shirts and custom stage gear to killer threads for the street to the stage, Rockwood Saloon has it all. Rockwood Saloon, authentic rock and roll apparel for stage and street. World tour tested for quality, comfort, style, and durability. Check them out at www.rockwoodsaloon.com. That's rockwoodsaloon.com.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that rock shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, lace-up tees, and tube top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsdesigns.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook for special offers and custom orders. That's sasspantsdesigns.com, sasspantsdesigns.com. Sass Pants will make you the envy of the party.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Yes, it is party time. Hello, Hollywood. Hello, North Hollywood. Hello, world. And hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you. And as always, good to be seen. My name is Izzy Presley. And welcome to the live studio version of another fucking podcast. We got one person in here. Yay! Make some noise. Yay! Who knows? More people might show up. Apparently, I gave my home address out. On the Facebook page. That is fucking odd. Closer than you think. I like that. Rik Foxx is here. Earl Skakel will be joining us. Earl's kind of a big deal. And Earl is on this show called I'm Dying Up Here, which is on Showtime. And it's based on the Comedy Store in the 70s. And, well, they had their season 2 premiere party. And he's there right now, but he is hurrying. He's coming over here. We're going to talk a lot of Kiss. We're going to talk a lot of stuff. It's going to be a fun show. Rik Foxx from Steeler and WASP is in the house. We'll get to him in just 1 second. Do make sure you check out all of the social media. The Facebook page is Another Effin' Podcast. And the entertainment page, everything I'm doing entertainment-wise, is Izzy Presley 1 on Facebook. Find out what I'm doing for, Soundcheck Live. Going to have another great show coming up this month, the last Wednesday of every month at Lucky Strike in Hollywood. A Ferlazzo production. Ferlazzo does an amazing job putting that on each and every month. And what I'm going to be doing stand-up comedy-wise, all of that kind of good stuff. Also, please make sure you check out the Twitter page. The Twitter machine is Real Izzy Presley. You can find me there and on Instagram on my quest for 1 million followers, currently sitting at about 2,500. Moving up very, very slowly. And please do support the sponsors. We have a brand new sponsor on the show now. It is Replay Guitar Exchange out of Tampa, Florida. You're thinking, Izzy, why would you have a music store out of Tampa? Well, these guys are, they're based out of Tampa, but they have an online store as well. Vintage guitars, new basses, amplifiers, pedals, all that kind of good stuff. And they do a lot of great stuff in their store. They do some doing a lot of clinics down there. I know they just had George Lynch. The icon Stu Hamm is going to be coming up, I think June 30th, July 30th. If you're a bass player, make the pilgrimage down to Tampa Bay and check out Replay Guitar Exchange. Or if you're in the Tampa area, just go in. Tell them you said hi. Tell them I said hi. And also Beater Amplification. Check out Beater Amplification on Facebook. Balls out, rock and roll tone. Rick, you heard the Beater.
Who?
The amp I was playing on
yes, you did.
At the Act Show.
Yes.
It sounded fucking badass, didn't it?
It was so badass that there was no room for anyone other badasses in the room.
See, that's how good Beater Amplification is. Balls out, rock and roll tone.
There's your testimonial.
There you go. You can get it right up on that mic, or pull it closer to you.
Right
whatever,
up on that mic.
Whatever works for you. Rik Foxx.
Phallic thing in my face.
I heard you like that.
Well,
Johnny Martin was telling me that.
Well, Johnny says a lot of things, but then it's Johnny, so we love him.
Yeah, we do love Johnny. Johnny is in Maryland right now for Sleazy Slimy Sunday, which is the end of the M3 Festival, which is a lot of my friends are at. And a lot of my friends are at this fucking Ride for Ronnie thing. I was hoping we would get a few people down. But, Rick, I missed out on the Kiss conversation that you were having backstage.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about the early days of Kiss.
Yeah, talking about the early. We're going to get to that, but tell us a little. Steeler, you were the original guys in Steeler?
No. The original band came here from Nashville with Ron Keel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they put in a year's worth of playing all the clubs and building a huge following. I mean, they had a huge following. They did a record showcase for all the labels, and labels were like, okay, unimpressed. Like, that's L.A. Everybody's jaded. But Ron took what I call a leap of faith and fired the whole band because he wanted guys in the band that looked like they could compete with the other bands that were already established here, like your Motley Crue and Rat, and like that. So he wanted guys that looked like superstars, like right off the stage. Mm-hmm. So he heard about me, or I guess some people were talking about me or whatever. Oh, that's nothing new. Everybody talks about me. And then I put an ad in Music Connection magazine, and he saw the ad and called up and said it sounded pro. I'd like to talk to you. And we met, and it was just Ron. The truck was gone. The lights were gone. The PA, everything. It was just Ron and his Flying V. And he said, here's a demo tape. Learn this, and we'll talk a little bit more. And I did, and we just wound up jamming together until the drummer came back. Mark Edwards came back from Texas, and the three of us were rehearsing a three-piece. And this is about December and January. December of '82, January of '83, and Yngwie came in February of '83.
Oh shit! See, I didn't even know Yngwie was in there.
Oh yeah, Mike Varney recommended him. Mike Varney was writing. He was the producer for Shrapnel Records and president of Shrapnel Records. And he, Ron contacted me and said, listen, I need a guitar player from hell. Little did we know how prophetic that was going to be.
Right?
So Mike sent us two tapes, two different guitar players, one of them being a 19-year-old guy from Sweden, Yngwie Malmsteen, from the country that brought us ABBA. And we were just like, holy cow. You thought Eddie Van Halen was something. You thought George Lynch was something. And so we flew him over, and it was like the Viking has arrived. I'm here.
Wow. What was it like working with Yngwie?
That's one of the most frequently asked questions.
I can imagine.
It depends on what day, what time, and what the subject was. If it was anything to do with music, the condescension and the arrogance level raised to like 11. But if it was anything that had to do that was not musical, and Yngwie was really into paranormal and UFOs and black magic and witchcraft and anything weird stuff, he would just turn into like a kid in a toy store. He was like a totally different person, And then there were moments where we would just, he's a big, of course, Ritchie Blackmore and Uli Roth fan.
Right.
There isn't any song that he doesn't know all of the licks to. So, me being from the East Coast and playing the cover clubs and they're like that, the covers band circuit, we'd jam a little bit on some Rainbow and some Scorpion stuff, and he was just like a kid at a toy store. But then when it came to the Steeler material, he just got up in Ron's face one day and said, hey, man, can you make these songs a little more interesting? Because they're really quite boring.
That is worth a Pat Fontaine laugh. Wait for it.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, you're an East Coast guy. When did you kind of hit the scene? Now, you were saying that we're going to get into the Kiss stuff deep here in a second, but obviously, that was early 70s.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. How old were you at that time?
I was still in high school. I was like a sophomore. I think it was 1972. And Peter Criss's family moved to an apartment around the corner from me in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. And there's like Greenpoint is a bar in almost every corner. You know, it's a predominantly Polish, Italian, Puerto Rican neighborhood, and there's bars almost every corner. And they lived upstairs over a bar. They didn't have a backyard. Their out their kitchen window was like this patio over like a multi-car parking garage. And that was like where they sat out, you know, in the hot summer afternoons. It was this little rooftop thing, and Peter had just he was in a band called Chelsea. They just did they did an album, and then there was a tragic accident with the bass player, and the band broke up. So Peter would come over and visit his mom, and that's how I met Peter and his wife Lydia, you know, Lydia Chris, and he gave me my first rock and roll shag haircuts. You know, like,
Peter was your hairdresser.
He was. He'd say, "Go get me 2 Budweiser tall boys and a pair of scissors." And I got him the beers and the scissors, and he went to work. And back then, that was the famous haircut. It was the shag. It was Paul McGregor created that, and Jane Fonda had it in Clute.
Oh, yeah.
In the film Clute.
Oh, hold on.
And of course, Rod Stewart was what they called it, the rooster haircut.
Right.
All the guys in the small faces, Ronnie Wood, everybody had that shaggy haircut. So Peter did that for me. And he was like the big brother that I never had, you know. And this guy is like, I don't love it, you know, old school, you know, tough guy Italian, but he's the rock and roll, you know, musician, you know, and I like that. So I got to hang out with him a little bit, you know, and his younger brother Joey, and I dated one of Peter's sisters, Joanne, and some friends of mine from high school. We all hung out with them. And then Peter put that ad out, that famous ad that was like in Rolling Stone and Village Voice, drummer willing to do anything to make it. Gene and Paul saw it, called him up, and next thing you know, the 3 of them are rehearsing. So sometimes he'd borrow Lydia's car, the silver Chevy Nova, and pick us up at the house and drive us into Manhattan. And we'd go up the loft and watch them rehearse.
So you actually got to see Kiss rehearse when they were a 3-piece.
Before Ace, yeah.
Jesus Christ. What's going through, I mean, obviously you had no idea what it's going to turn into, but what's going through your mind as you're hearing what and seeing kind of what they're doing?
That's a good question. I was to kind of backtrack it a little bit. I was really starting to get into music heavily by 72 because I got on the dance committee in school, and they would have, you know, there's dances on like on a Friday or Saturday night. So I got my early roadie experience by helping the bands load in. Okay, and then I'd stay the whole night and watch them play and everything, and I got to experience and this band's playing a really cool heavy song, and who is that? And then who is that? And what band is this? And what band is that? That's how I learned about Spooky Tooth and Black Sabbath and, you know, all these heavy songs these bands would play. And then so I got my kind of musical bite experience into that. So I kind of knew what really heavy stuff was. And Alice Cooper, I was into, you know, Love It to Death had come out by that point. You know, Ted Nugent, Amboy Dukes, Cactus, which was the American Led Zeppelin before there was Zeppelin.
Yes,
okay.
Cactus.
Carmen Appice.
Yes,
and Tim
yes.
Boulder.
I'm just having this Anvil moment. You ever seen the movie?
No, I heard about it.
Yeah. There's Lips is talking about Cactus. I was walking down the street and I heard this guy who's just cranking out Cactus. And I'm like, who listens to Cactus? And that's how we met Robbo.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry to interrupt.
So cut now back to the loft, and I'm watching Kiss rehearse. And I didn't know that much technically about music, but I knew what I felt. I knew what I heard. And, you know, it strikes a resonant chord within your body, this 4/4 stuff they're doing with these harmonies. I'd never heard anything like that before, but the arrangements were heavy and catchy. You know, Gene's playing through an SVT cabinet that had stenciled on the side Jack Bruce. He had one of Jack Bruce's old cabinets. And I'd never heard anything like this before. These guys are heavy, and you know that they're going to go somewhere because they're not like everyone else. You know, there's in the scene at that time we had New York Dolls, and Ramones were starting to come out. Wayne County, which became Jane County. I was part of the whole Max's Kansas City CBGB's rock crowd. You know, I became a veteran of playing that scene, which was kind of right behind them. I'm growing up. I'm going to Coventry. I'm watching these bands. I got on the photo clubs. I had a camera, and I was like underage, and I'd still schmooze my way into the clubs. You know, I'm here to shoot the bands. You know, and you dress up like the bands. They think you're in the band.
Right.
You know, there was no such thing as poser. If you looked like you were in the band, that was showing a sign of support and solidarity. Mm-hmm. So nobody mocked you or made fun of you. You were accepted like that. So you know. I'd never seen or experienced music like Kiss before, and I knew this was going to be big. You just can tell. You don't know how to explain it, but you know this is different. And then they had gone through an audition point, and we weren't there for that. They auditioned all these different guitar players, and I've read the stories, heard the stories. Lydia told us about it. And Bob Kulick was one of the guitar players, and I don't know the details about why he didn't get the gig, but Ace showed up one day, and he sits down in the back of the room, and it wasn't much bigger than this room.
So wait, were you there when Ace auditioned?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, you're just rehashing the story.
Yeah, we missed the actual auditions.
Okay,
So Ace is sitting in the back of the room. He's not plugged in. He's just sitting, diddling away on his Les Paul. You can't hear him. But Gene stopped the audition of all the other guitar players. So Ace, can you please stop that? We're having an audition up here. And Ace is like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Right.
All right, Curly, whatever.
Curly.
Whatever. So whatever you say, Curly. And then the next time we went up there, Ace had already made the cut. He was in the band. So we go up there, and like I said, the loft wasn't much bigger than this room, maybe like from here, this square. And egg cartons all over the walls. It was an industrial little loft, a couple of flights up off of 23rd Street, off of Fifth Avenue, I think it was. And there's this guy leaning against the wall in a gray pinstripe suit, one orange sneaker, one purple sneaker. It looked a little bit like Shirley MacLaine with the shaggy haircut. And he's leaning against the wall. He's whipping away all these Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page licks. I'm like, where the hell this guy come from? He's great. And Paul's like nudging him to move because they're trying to do choreographed moves.
Right.
And Ace is just like, I'm just leaning against the wall being Curly because it's holding me up because I'm bad with the gravity on this planet. And that was pretty much, Ace was in the band.
Yeah.
So, we'd go watch them rehearse. My friend John from high school, he'd bring a 6-pack of beer, and Ace would be like, hey, Curly, can I get one of your Budweisers? And he'd bum all this, the whole guy's 6-pack, And that was it. We would watch them rehearse. This was history happening right before our eyes.
Well, I mean, obviously you didn't know it was history at the time, but you
could feel it.
You could feel it.
Yeah.
Now talk about the difference, from watching them rehearse and watching them grow until you saw them at that first show at Coventry.
They were pretty tight when I saw them, and you could see them working out arrangements. They had a thing that came out later on the first album called The Love Theme from Kiss.
Yep.
It was originally called Acrobat.
Yes.
Okay. And it was this whole pretty little movement, and then it would like cut, stop, and Peter would do this boom, 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 and they do this Detroit Rock City type of feel to it. And they do that, for X amount of measures.
That's what became the ending of She, the live version, right?
They kind of melded it, yeah. Yeah. And then, the original version of She from the Wicked Lester album is just like so almost country.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
So, if you take something like that and crank the volume, you're going to have hard rock. I say, what happens, if you turn the blues up to 11, you get Led Zeppelin, so it's like that.
Yeah, right. To the T.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so, they got some gigs. They played the Coventry, and I had gotten another camera. I didn't know how to work it very efficiently. It was some box camera. And, with the big 2x3, 3x3 inch negatives, like that film. And I just hoped for the best. My shutter speed was kind of off in the flash, that kind of thing. So I've got these really bizarre, phantasmagoric-looking photos of Gene, like, making a face and walking towards the camera, and it's the blur. And he looks just like that character in I want to say, not Night of the Living Dead. With the girl that crashes into the water. And she doesn't know if she's alive or dead. She's between the worlds. All the horror fans know what I'm talking about.
Oh shit! If Ace,
it's a classic black and white film.
If Ace Von Johnson was
do you know what
he'd be able to tell us.
What film is that? I know what you're talking about. She crashes the car off the bridge, and she plays keyboards, organs in the church.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I know what it is.
Well, anyway, this guy with the white face and the black lips that's haunting this woman through the movie. Gene looks like that. And he says and I got these blurry, scary kind of, and then some of them were okay. They were in focus like that. And Ace says by this time a little bit of money started coming their way, so they got brand new thigh high, the boots. They got brand new gear, leather jackets, new guitars. Ace had his T-shirt. It said Ace stenciled on it in silver studs like that. The makeup was a little more polished. I don't think at this point Paul was still experimenting with the raccoon makeup. Now he went to the star on the one eye.
Okay, so this was he had he already done the raccoon makeup, or was that after this?
It kind of went back and forth.
Okay, so he actually wore that for a few shows. It wasn't just like one show.
Right. Yeah,
he was like switching off to see which one he liked.
Absolutely, yeah. Because at the Fillmore East, the coming out press show, I think he had the raccoon makeup on.
Okay,
so
that's right. I think. Well, you'd know more than I would.
Yeah,
I mean,
but so those first shows at Coventry was like, there was almost nobody there. Carnival of Souls. Thank you, Ed Gage.
Carnival of Souls, and it goes right back to Kiss.
Right back to Kiss. So there it is. So Gene looked like, in these blurry pictures I took, Gene looked like this lead character that was terrorizing the woman in Carnival of Souls. And everybody was still, they were, how do I say this, looking to draw their characterization out through their makeup on who was who.
Yeah. Because they were still, because it didn't happen overnight. Everybody thinks it was all pre-planned, and it just happened. They always said it kind of just happened.
Yeah, and they didn't want to be like the Dolls. The Dolls were glam trash, like the trashy version of the Rolling Stones.
Right,
that. So, and a lot of the bands in New York at that time had a similar look, not exactly like the Dolls, but it was glammy, lipstick and makeup, and everybody had platform shoes and satin pants, and we're all borrowing a little bit from the English glam scene, Mott the Hoople and Queen, like that. It would come over from England. So everybody kind of had that, Harlots of 42nd Street had like the torn, shredded women's stockings and mismatched clothing and like that and whatnot. But Kiss separated themselves in their look from what all the other New York bands were trying to look like. Street punk, John Montgomery, Luger, all of these bands, they had this really good-looking guys, glam kind of thing. But Kiss took it like to the next level with the makeup and bringing out these inside personas, and I forgot to bring my Ken Sharp book, The Making of Kiss.
That's right. Well, we have it at the house.
Nothing to Lose, The Making of Kiss.
Yeah. I haven't read it yet, but we have it at the house. And
then Gene said he didn't really know exactly what he was going to do on stage, and he remembered watching these monster movies and 20 Million Miles to Earth, the creature from Venus, the Ymir, and he would do this, stomping, walking kind of thing to emulate what the monsters. We're both big fans of Ray Harryhausen animation, so he would try to emulate the way the monsters moved in Harryhausen's in the films, like that, and then the tongue thing, and then the kabuki makeup, and so he was definitely coming from the whole horror aspect.
Well, let me ask you this, and I caught on to this, and I don't know how much of an influence it was on Paul. But watching T-Rex and watching Mark Bolan live, when I was watching the Born to Boogie and seeing them play at Wembley, and the way that Mark Bolan moved, there was a lot of Paul Stanley in there.
Absolutely.
And Paul's never came out and talked about it, but I mean, being that close, did you notice any huge influence of Mark Bolan on Paul Stanley?
They looked similar. The look was similar. Once Paul started to get his haircut more layered. You can see more of the poofiness in it. Sometimes without with sweating and everything during the show, your hair starts to part and go flat like that. But yeah, there was definitely an influence of what if you put Mark Bolan and Paul Stanley side by each, you'll see that there's a very close similarity to that. I was just starting to get into T-Rex around at that time as well, so I saw like on the, that Electric Warrior, the one right after that with Slider.
Yeah,
you see, it looked almost like Paul without the star.
Right.
So there was definitely that. But they said we wanted to be the band that we always wanted to be and see on stage. Mm-hmm. So they took elements of Humble Pie, of this band, of that band, The Who, and whatever, and they put it all together, put on their black and silver gear, and they became who they were. A lot of people don't know that the actual unofficial fifth member of Kiss was the guy who helped make them their image, who they are, was the late Sean Delaney.
Yes.
And I was friends with Sean. He taught them their choreography. He wrote and arranged music with them. He was the guy that really helped mold who they became on stage. Their whole persona. He was the guy who was behind all of that. And he worked with Bill Aucoin, who was their manager. Mm-hmm. And I didn't meet him early on while we were at the Diplomat show. Okay, and Bill Aucoin sat behind us, and we didn't know it was him until after the show, and we saw them backstage talking with Gene. And I'm doing these Gene Simmons imitations,
I should have Craig Gass here.
But funny story was Kiss, Street Punk, and I think Luger. No, Bratz. No, there was 2 different Diplomat shows. And Kiss went on right in the middle slot to prime time. And before they went on, I had gone out and bought a huge bag full of these balloons. And I blew up each balloon by hand, drew the Kiss logo with a magic marker, drew their faces, and then deflated the balloons carefully because if the ink would smear. Wasn't printed on it; was drawn.
Oh yeah.
I did this
like Sharpies, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, Sharpies or the whiter tip markers. And I must have did about 100 balloons like this, and then very carefully in the shoebox, we all sat in the front row. Me, Joanne, Chris, Donna, Chris, their friend Amory. There was a whole bunch of us sitting in the front row. And right before Kiss came on during intermission, we all started blowing up these balloons, one after another, after another, after another. And we got like these arms. Each of us has like 20 or 30 balloons in our arms. And then here lights go down. Here comes down. Da, 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 and here comes, Deuce. And the lights come on. Boom. We all stood up and just launched all these balloons at Kiss. And Gene's like, the hell is this? He's looking around. And all these balloons say Kiss on them. And they're like, oh, wow. And he's like doing the stomp. He's stomping on the balloons. We gave them promo that they never expected.
Right.
I was like one of the first earliest promo people for Kiss. I tried to get them to play at my high school, and it was that close. Almost had them. And the school said, I think we'll pass. We don't know who they are. And I took a lot of heat and a lot of mockery from my peers, my classmates.
Oh, of course.
But it would have been amazing to have Kiss play at my high school. And this would have been long before Detroit.
Right.
And Gene was upset, and understandably so. And I said I did everything I could. They vetoed it. But so I was trying to help do whatever I could to promote Kiss because I could see this is going to be big. Mm-hmm. So I did everything I could think I could do to help promote them. And there was an incident where it went a little over, I think, in their opinion. And I took some liberties because they were going to have this Fillmore East show coming up, and I mimeographed these little homemade like tickets. They weren't really tickets. It didn't cost to get in. It was free. But the names I mentioned on there, like Allison Steele, the Nightbird from WNEW-FM, DJ, and all of these other stars' names. I said these people might be there. Well, they could have gotten in trouble for that, but I didn't know, and they didn't know.
Right.
Gene and Paul in the empty theater. They sit me down in the middle of an empty theater. Paul comes over, puts his foot up on the seat. He goes, we're just going to kick your ass. You know that? You could have got us in big trouble. We could have been sued. We could have this, that. I'm like, but I tried to help. I was trying to promote you guys to get people. Well, you shouldn't have done that. You should have. And they'd like chastising me. Like, you're looking the gift horse in the mouth. Here's this high school kid doing everything he could to get people to come down there so that they would believe me that there was such a band existed with it. People go, Kiss, what kind of name is that for a band? What are they like, Fruity or what?
Right.
I don't want to offend anybody, but back in 72 we used those, the harsher words for the alternative.
Harsher words,
for the
like Fruity.
The alternative lifestyle people,
Yeah.
But in New York, everybody says, oh, you fag, or something,
Yeah.
But I did whatever I could to help promote them, and Paul got mad at me, and he's held that grudge for years. I don't know why. I just did everything I could to help promote the band and get them out there. Then years later, the first album comes out. They were big and famous, and then all my classmates are like, you know what? You were ahead of the curve. We should have listened to you. You were right. Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we made fun of you because look how big they are.
So did your relationship with them end at that point?
No. I'd seen them, here and there several times. By the time Hotter Than Hell had come out, they played at a club then in Jersey, the Jersey Shore called the Sunshine Inn, Asbury Park. Mm-hmm. And at this point, they were already in Circus Magazine all over the place. And there's that one particular, I think it was a Bob Gruen photograph, I'm sure. They're all gathered around a bus stop sign. And they're all like clinging together, and like Paul's up over the top, pushing his hair like that. I took that and I hand painted it on the back of a denim vest on mine. And on my buddy's vest, I painted the cover from Hotter Than Hell on his vest. And this is long before people were wearing bands on the back of their jackets.
Right.
Okay, again, the visionary at work. This is 74, 75, whatever, 76. And I'm taking pictures. I got pictures of the band and whatnot. They couldn't fit the Kiss sign over the band. It was a low ceiling. It had it on the side of the stage like that. And I got a bunch of pictures of the Sunshine Inn. And after the show, we're all walking around and people are emptying out. Gene gets a look at the back of my denim jacket. He grabs me by the shoulder and he goes, come on. And he drags me over to Bill O'Connor. He goes, Gee, look at this. You see this? Think of the marketing. What we could do with this. Look at what he did on the back of his jacket. And it's like, again, the wheels are turning, the marketing.
Right. So that was, he already had that bug that early on.
Oh, yeah. He was definitely, up there, with Gene was always the business guy. Well, okay, what can we do? How much is it going to cost? What's the investment? What's the return on the investment? What are we going to get? What are we going to put out? It was always the wheels were turning. He's a businessman.
Right. How much merchandise was out there at that time? There couldn't have been that much, right? There were obviously T-shirts.
Just very, very simple Kiss shirts.
Okay.
We would make our own shirts. The Chris sisters with Pete's mom. We'd go out and get a bunch of blank T-shirts, put them over a piece of cardboard, and we'd kind of stencil the word Kiss with the logo with the SS's like that. And then we'd do them and we'd outline it, put it in glue, and then we'd sprinkle glitter on it, and we'd paste it down and let them dry. And then we'd pick it up and shake off the loose, and we had all these Kiss T-shirts in glitter. And eventually it became rhinestones. But this was the early marketing and merchandising of what we were doing for Kiss, until the wheels started to turn and they started putting out shirts and things like that, because money was almost non-existent. Bill O'Coin was using his credit cards to fund the tours.
Yeah,
because the albums weren't selling as much as they thought. Mm-hmm. And Kiss would go out with these huge bands and they'd open for them, they'd blow them away, and they go, "You're not opening for us anymore." Every band was threatened. Until Kiss finally, second album, we're a little bit more. Third album, well, we're not doing so well. I don't know. We're putting all this money out. We're not getting anything back. Not enough to pay for all the bills. And then they did Kiss Alive, the first one, and that broke them. Rock and Roll All Night, that was it. The money started flowing in, and everybody got paid back, all their back money and everything.
How did you, as somebody that was there from the beginning, watching them grow, what did you think about the sound on that original Kiss record as compared to what you were seeing as they were rehearsing and as they were growing?
Well, obviously, what was on the album was a lot more polished. It was also a little bit slower. Well, when Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise produced the first album, I had been watching them in rehearsal for a while now. I think at one point even, I think I remember J.J. French from Twisted Sister had come down and was doing some guitar work with them, but when you're hearing them live in the same room, the adrenaline is just so much different. You couldn't capture that on an album, and that's the whole point of Kiss Alive, was to capture what they sounded like live. Everything on the studio albums was like, it was cut, it was dry, it was tame. It's energy. We'll keep it in the box, okay, and you guys just do it live. And then, to hear it on, I remember, I think it was WNEW FM, when they premiered the Kiss album. And this is like the top FM station. They play Traffic and King Crimson and, all these big bands. And then there's the Kiss album, and the Kiss album comes on, and you just, the goosebumps, the hair on your arm going, I watched this band be born. I was there watching the egg hatch and grow. And you kind of feel like a proud father or proud something. There's a relation, there's a symbiotic, if that's the word, symbiotic relationship, because you were there watching the magic happen and be written. You're watching history be written, and then the album comes out, and I'm like, I was by myself. I was down in the basement, and I had the radio on. I'm like, wow, just wow. It's really hard to put that into words.
Yeah, well, I kind of had a similar experience with this band out of Minneapolis called Flip. And they came out mid-'90s, and, they were on Hollywood Records, but they got signed because of the club in my hometown, the Red Carpet. Every time they played there, it was elbows to assholes. You couldn't fucking move in the place. Flip was so loud that basically the only thing that was coming through the mains were drums and vocals, because they had a wall of custom amps, those padded ones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember those.
And they were kind of like Cheap Trick meets the Sex Pistols. They're polished, and they had that poppy sound, but they still had a little punk in them. But they had his Kiss stage presence, because Bryn, he had the makeup, the half black, half white makeup, and thank you so much. Make some noise for our sound gal, Megan, everybody! Yay! Doing the devil's work.
I like these curtains.
Yeah, I like those curtains too. But so they had this really Kiss type stage presence. And I always say, you're like, well, why do you love them so much? It's not like they were huge. It's like, well, it doesn't matter, because they were like our Kiss. Mm-hmm. We watched them grow, and we watched them get signed, and then we watched them be in the fucking the movie Chasing Amy. They had a song in that. Then we watched them move up. So I know exactly what I mean, on a different level, obviously. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like people, I guess, who experience a close encounter of the third or fourth kind. It's really hard to put that into words because there's just some things your brain can't put. You have to be, articulation is one thing. This goes beyond articulation, trying to explain what you saw when Kiss was forming, and then when they finally came out, and then starting to watch them go up the level. And luckily I was able to, they played Madison Square Garden, bigger events. I was able to get down front rows, and I knew everybody in the front row, all my friends.
Of course.
And it's this wash of energy, of sound, of everything that you can't put into words, just coming past you, and it's just an experience. That's all it is. It's just an experience. And and you come home covered in glitter from everything they dropped from the ceiling, and balloons and guitar picks and everything. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun being there and watching the history, watching it happen right in front of my naked, steaming eyes.
So, at what point did your relationship with them end?
No, I bump into them from time to time here and there, or go to see them here and there. If they would see me down in the front row or something like that, and Gene would make some face, or Pete would come out and sing. Beth, well, by the time Beth came out, and he'd come out and his nickname within the family was Georgie, because his middle name was George, Peter George Criscola, and only his family called him Georgie.
Okay.
Yeah, so he'd come out and I'd yell, "Hey, Georgie!" And he'd look, he keys in on the word, and he sees me down there, and he throws a rose, hey, gives me a wave,
right,
gives me a wave like that, it's like, but it was their time to grow and move on. You could only follow them so much,
Right. Well, I suppose after you explode on that level, it's kind of hard as somebody that was, there in the beginning to kind of latch on and follow.
Yeah, and so by 74, they were really starting to get, first album starting to get out there, and I graduated high school in 74. Thank God the war in Vietnam ended right before I graduated. Otherwise, it would have been a whole different story for me.
Right.
Here comes 75, and then I wind up being introduced to the Club Max's Kansas City, and I had never heard of it before. Some girl was walking by, and I was having lunch in front of the Seagram's building. And she looked at me. She goes, "Hey, we have the same haircuts." So it's like, there's that. Well, we're from the same planet, but we're on a different planet. But and we got to talking, and she goes, "So you've never been to Max's?" No. She goes, "You've never been to Max's Kansas City?" No. You meet me there. Okay, so I met her there, and she took me and introduced me to the club. That was my first step, as I say, going down the rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
And this is the place where Alice Cooper had played, Aerosmith played, for the record companies, a lot of famous people. It started out as Andy Warhol's art crowd, and it started to become a music crowd after that. And Andy would kind of back off a little bit from it, and it became bands. And they were very supportive of the bands, and it was like all of these bands. The list is like from my head to my feet and beyond of the bands that have played there. Have graced the legendary stage of Max's Kansas City. So,
well, okay, let me ask you this. I mean, obviously, beyond seeing Kiss at that level, at that venue, I mean, what did you see that ended up being something huge?
Where, at Max's?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the bands that I saw were just amazingly huge. Well, at the time, Wayne County was pushing on the envelope. He was from Kentucky. It was a transsexual kind of character, hard rock, really raunchy. And the Backstreet Boys were a bunch of the known players, the club street players in the New York scene. They had a really heavy, raunchy, hard rock band, and I was being exposed to things that this is a whole new world for me. I got to keep my eyes and ears open, because this is just okay. There was Kiss. Now I'm going back to the street level, and I'm watching all of these other bands coming up as well. And these are bands that I would see playing, and then a year or two later, I'm playing the same stages that they did. So I was just that year or two, three behind Kiss and the Dolls and all these other bands, that were in. So here I am, Kiss has now gone on. If they're in town, they'll come visit the clubs and stuff, hang out like that. Because Ace was really good friends with Rick Rivets from the Brats, and Rick was the guy who was probably the founding father with Johansson for the New York Dolls.
Okay.
He created the New York Dolls. But originally, New York Dolls is, here's a trivia, the original name of the New York Dolls was Actress. And then they were walking by the New York Doll Hospital in uptown New York, a place where they fixed dolls. They, surgery and whatever for people who have rare dolls. And they said, New York Dolls. That's when they changed their name. So Rik was friends with them, and then he got into the Brats, and Brats would play shows with Kiss. So I started to learn who was who and hang out. Hey, how you do? Make friends, hobnob, rub shoulders. And then here I am at Max's now hanging out with these guys, these bands that played there. And I saw them at Coventry. And so it was like, now I'm part of the scene, and I get introduced to this guy who plays guitar in a group called the Martian Rock Band. And they're looking for a bass player. And I'm not that good at this point. I'm still green. But I'm trying. I'm trying real hard. And God bless Sebastian Black nowadays. He's a psychic medium in New York.
Boy, I bet he didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Ba-doom.
So
wait.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pat Fontaine. Anyways,
he wasn't a psychic large or a psychic small. He was a psychic medium. So there. At any rate, I get introduced to him, and we're talking one night in Max's, and I'm looking up on one of the side stages, and there's these girls singing backup for this band, and one of them had blonde hair, and the other one had dark hair, and the blonde was Debbie Harry.
Oh, damn.
Before Blondie. She was Debbie Blondie, and one of the Bonsai Babies, backup singers, and who went on, of course, to be world famous as Blondie. So he says, we're looking for a bass player, and, blah, 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 and go ahead, try me out. And he tried me out, and the songs were real easy enough. I said, how would you describe the music? He says, space and punk. We were a spunk band. So, you didn't see that coming. And that was kind of, we did standards, 50s type doo-wop, but harder rock stuff like that. Lost My Baby on the Dark Side of the Moon, The Greatest Musician in the Galaxy, Take Me to Your Leader was our opening song, of course. And that's where he introduced me as a bass player. He's from Mercury. Now I had to figure out what kind of character I wanted to become. And I sat down in my basement, and in front of the makeup mirror, and all this experimental makeup. And I figured, okay, well, one of my favorite monsters from Universal was always the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Uh-huh.
What if we could make a creature from the Black Lagoon that looked like he came from another planet? And I went, okay. So I got all this sparkly green, creamy eyeshadow, and I got a Capezio spandex bodysuit, had the zipper in the front open, and I all the exposed skin, I colored this creamy green color. I took a black highlighter pencil, and I drew scales over my chest. And I got to the face, and I went, okay, what can I do with the face? Oh, Mr. Spock. And I just covered the eyebrows in derma wax, and I redrew them up, and I filled it all in blue. And that was my character. And a little bit of streak and tip silver in the hair. And I was this space lizard. It was a combination of Gene and Ace. So
right.
There's the Kiss influence.
There it is.
So, and Zebby wasn't wearing any makeup at the time. He had a purple jumpsuit. He had a flying V with extra wings added that he'd bolt on there before the show. So he had like a 6-winged V.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And he would shoot flames out of the headstock. It was a magic trick. So he taught me where he got all the...
So he was doing that before Ace was doing it.
Yeah, shooting fire out of a guitar, yeah. That was the first person I'd seen doing it that I recall. And then, Ace had the smoke and everything coming out. The pickups would light up and all of that. And so we would kind of like one-up each other in a friendly way, and I brought theatrics into the Martian Rock Band. And then Sebby started wearing makeup, heavier makeup on the face, and then the drummer would make him up and like that. And again, in being a visionary, I said, what's the next step? What's the next level? What can we do besides just being a 3-piece band on the stage? And my dad had an 8mm projector. And I used to go get these little, from the Monster magazines, that have these little 8mm reels of 5 or 10 minutes worth of footage from various films. And we got like Day the Earth Stood Still and Commander Cody and the Flying Rocket Men. And I would play this stuff with the camera and project it on the wall behind us. It'd be backwards, but still. So it's like Fillmore East, Fillmore West used to have the thing called a Pig Light Show. And they'd put an overhead projector and oils, different colored oils, and they'd smear it and put plastic over it and mush it around. A lot of people were doing acid back then, so they enjoyed that. But there was the point of projecting a medium of some kind behind the band, something to look at. And we have video screens. Back then, this is what I did. We had a movie projector and films, and we would show this on the wall behind wherever we played. So these were the things that were coming to me, again, as a promotional guy, as a marketing guy. What can we do to take it to the next level? And then like I said, Sebby used to shoot fire out of his headstock with a magic trick. He showed me how it worked, and then I incorporated it into my hand. and I wound up using the same magic trick with something called Dragon's Breath, and it's this powder, and if you pour it on a table and throw a match on it, it won't burn. It only burns if it's oxidized in the air.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
like a flamethrower, and use flash paper as your igniter, which is like onion skin. And I think you have to have a license to get this stuff now because it's pyrotechnics. And I would like this, and I'd shoot at it running up my finger, and I'd shoot fire out of my finger. So it was like bringing more and more theatrics to the stage. And this is, again, reaching back to Kiss. What can I do that's like them but not like them?
Right.
And that was how was my debut. That made me my professional debut with at Max's Kansas City with the Martian Rock Band, 75.
Dude, that's fucking killer. Hello to everybody that is listening. Bruce, what's going on? Jacobus, go fuck yourself. Kidding, buddy. How you doing? Keith, checking in. Scotty, checking in from Canada. What's up, guys? Scotty, you've missed a lot of Kiss talk, and there's a lot more to come. No, you had said that you had a camera. You had a video camera at some point.
No, it was a box camera.
A box camera. Okay. Did you get any Kiss footage?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I did, but pictures, not video.
Pictures. Okay. Have any of those pictures been used by them? Has that stuff come out?
Let me answer it this way. At this point, I think my dad saw what the pictures looked like. He went out and bought me an actually it was a Hanamex Praktika, some really nice upscale 35 millimeter camera, and I was in the photography club at high school, which was perfect because I had access to all the film I could get my hands on for free.
Nice.
All the developing chemicals. And I would just, after school, I would go upstairs, shut the door, lock it, and all my negatives, the bands I would shoot from Coventry, and the Harlots, and the Brats, and Turn Down Broadway, and ISIS, and all these bands. And I'd go up there, and I'd be with the chemicals, and I'd develop my negatives, and I'd start printing out pictures, and I'd take it to the clubs and show it to the bands, and they go, oh, yeah, here's a copy, like that. And so by this point, I got this really nice 35 millimeter camera. And then here comes the Neil Bogart with the press presentation of Kiss at what was the Fillmore East. I was probably one of the only people alive at the time who knew exactly when Gene was going to spurt the fire out of his mouth.
Earl, come on, join in. Just pop down. Earl Skakel is here, everybody. Yeah. We're going to let him finish the story here. He's talking about shooting. He was shooting at the Kiss press presentation at the Fillmore East in, 74?
Something like that, yeah. It was Neil Bogart put on this big press presentation presenting Kiss to the world. They just signed him to Casablanca. It was their maiden voyage, so to speak, with the first band out of Casablanca. And I just from watching them, you watch through the shutter eye. Any photographer will know what I'm talking about. You watch your show through the shutter, and I can see when Gene he's going back and forth with the torch with his hand in the air, trying to see where which way the breeze, if any, was a breeze blowing, so it didn't go back in his face. And he positioned himself right. You could see the flame blowing away from him. I could see him purse his lips. And just as he started to bring the torch to his lips, I hit the shutter because by that point he had gone, and it was this huge ball of flame. So I got a really nice shot of him, like from this angle, whoosh, like that. And you can see Sean Delaney off in the wings, with the headphones on and the stage crew and whatnot. And I got all these cool pictures of them. And Paul, of course, he had the raccoon makeup back on, and they had a huge. There was a previous production there. They had this huge, it looked like a big spider web made out of rope. And then the Kiss sign and whatnot. They had all brand new gear, brand new Marshall stacks. They had the rotating fire engine lights and the sirens and the fog. It was just like overwhelming. There was nobody doing this stuff at the time, So it was like an onslaught to the senses, like that. And I got some really great pictures. Now they're finally in focus. They're sharp. They're crisp.
Right.
Got close-up shots. Ace Frehley was like from me to this bar stool over here, that close, right under them on the stage, and like that. And eventually they put out a repackaging of the first 3 albums called The Originals.
Yes.
And it was a booklet that came with it.
Uh-huh.
And on that booklet, on the cover, was one of the old Brooklyn fire alarms you'd find on the corner where you go up and pull the handle. And they had a Kiss poster that Paul had drawn up when he made these flyers. And in the booklet, you're going through and there's all of these things. And it says fan submitted button. And it's like a reverse makeup of Gene, So it's a blackface with white makeup like that. I used to hand paint these. I'd make buttons hand painted that look like them with their makeup, and then I would reverse the makeup, and I do them with black with white details, in reverse. And that was one of my buttons, because Gene would have me come up to Rocksteady to and talk to Bill Aucoin, and he'd say, okay, so we want to get the perspective of the kid on the street kind of thing. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And they would throw these ideas at me, and I'd say, well, I don't know about that. That works. No, that's kind of cool. No, that's kind of hokey, like that. And they'd get feedback from me, from somebody from that level, and knowing that we were friends with Peter and all of that. So, and so some of my stuff wound up, in this booklet, and nobody knew it was any of my stuff because it said fan submitted button. And I would leave all this stuff with them at their office, drawings, all kinds of things that I'd done, presentations, and they were like,
come in, sit down, enjoy the Kiss conversation.
They're like, maybe you could work on the art department or work on something with up here. And I'm like, that would be cool. Nothing ever happened. But, when Sean started working with Fallen Angel, who changed their name to Stars, he'd take me in the meeting room, and he had all of these drawings laid out on the table with costuming and different colors, different logos, different this. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? I said, I thought the name Stars was kind of cliche, but the costume designs looked really cool. And eventually, that band became Stars. So I got to kind of, they started to really be interested in what my opinion was about what they were doing. And Sean eventually started working with another band he put together. It was like a 3-piece version of Kiss. They were called Spike.
Okay.
And they had black spandex body leotards, but instead of black leather, they wore yellow leather with studs and studded leather
so
collars.
They were like the original Striper.
Yes, before Striper, before Rock's regime. This is New York, in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it was leather studded like that. And they were a 3-piece band, and they sounded like Kiss, just 3 guys instead of 4 like that. And I was working with them. I was doing their sound. I did their lights. I started learning how to be the roadie. Be the tech and all of this stuff. Set it up, tear it down, and like that. And eventually Spike, they added another guitar player, and then kind of just fizzled like that. So, but I just try to maintain whatever open relationship I could with them whenever I'd be at the office, and I'd see this one and that one. And then one day, Bill Aucoin, he's walking me out to the front door, and he goes, all right, so you're going to keep in touch with us. We got your number. We got this. And then as I'm almost out the threshold of the door, I feel this hand grab a hold of my left cheek and squeeze. And I was like, whoa! And I got goosed by Bill Aucoin.
Of course you did. Did I tell you that my Bill Aucoin story when I was on your show?
I think everyone has one.
I think everyone, okay, well.
Me too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Earl Skakel. Did I pronounce is it Skakel?
Skakel, but who cares?
Well, no, I care. I want to do it right.
That separates you from most people.
That's a good point.
He's always been separated.
You're a little late, but you had good reason because you were on a TV show called I'm Dying Up Here, and it was the season premiere party, correct?
Yes. So I apologize for being late.
No, dude, like I said, that's a little bit more important than.
Not really. This is important.
Well, now he's going to be dying up here.
Right. Well, that's I have erectile dysfunction, so I'm dying down there.
Yeah. Well, we're all at that age. We kind of all do. But so my Bill Aucoin story. Bill was there was this band called Annex out of Green Bay, and they were at the same club that Flip was at. I was telling you that got Flip signed, and Paul knew Bill through Flip because Bill was managing Flip. So It always comes back to Kiss. And so they flew Bill in because Annex wanted Bill to manage them. And I was guitar teching for Annex that night, and I walked back into the green room, and there was a bathroom back there, and I had to piss so bad. I walked in, and Bill's back there taking a shit. And it's like, whoa! He didn't lock the fucking door. It's like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. And he comes walking out like, dude, man, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were in there. He goes,
that's okay. Come on right in. I got something to show you.
And he goes, I wish you would have came in there earlier. I was like, no, Bill, no. No.
Well, I have some shit to show you.
Earl, we actually already have a question for you. We have all these. He's talking about Kiss at Coventry and watching them before Ace Frehley and becoming a band.
I almost don't want to say anything and just keep listening to the stories.
It's funny. You mentioned erectile dysfunction. I'm thinking it just joke came to me about the creature from the Black Lagoon having erectile dysfunction.
Maybe you should be the comic.
Yeah. Hey, I'm from New York. What can I tell you?
Scotty from Canada said, my first experience with Earl was through Jeff Ross's roast battle. Jeff Ross is on the current episode of Inappropriate Earl.
Yes.
So go and listen to that. I'm about halfway through it. Great. He goes, how was that to go through, Earl?
Well, it's not my normal sense of humor to look across at someone and basically dress them down on TV and shit on them.
Oh, yes, it is.
Well, in my own comedy, I roast myself. I'm just not comfortable sitting there looking at you and go, okay, you're this, you're that. But
there's a lot of people who are uncomfortable sitting across from me, but that's okay. They have doctors for that now.
I feel like I'm on an Amber Alert billboard right now.
If only you knew.
But I almost don't want to know.
This is going to get funny, folks.
No, it already is. It did everything for me. It got me on the Showtime show. It got me on the Adult Swim cartoon. It's probably a large part of the reason why my podcast is doing so well. And
I would like to take credit for that. Thank you very much.
Well, to be honest with you, the spike did happen right around when you came on.
That's right. Presley equals ratings, motherfuckers.
You know, I feel like an 80s metal guitar player who was classically trained with Beethoven and Bach and admired Randy Rhoads, but they weren't making any money. So they dyed their hair blonde and played pink neon guitars and made millions. That's how Roast Battle was for me. It's not my sense of humor.
Right.
But, you know, I'm a little older than most comics. You know, I'm 49. So I was like, I don't think New Faces is calling me from Montreal.
Right.
I'm an old face.
Wish I could see 49 again.
So, well, I mean, you know, you look as good as I do, so
thank you.
It's all about illusion.
Right.
Smoke and mirrors, folks. Smoke and mirrors.
So, but Roast Battle is amazing, and it's coming back. So,
and I was so proud of you because I was diving into the Real Rob show on Netflix, and there's my buddy Earl getting a blowjob on camera. It was awesome.
Well, that was that girl's idea. You know, originally we were supposed to be just kissing, and of course, you know, everyone's lobbed up with a mic that's hidden inside their collar.
Right.
So right before we start making out, she's like, hey, would it be funnier if I blew you instead? I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
Real funny. And you know everyone can hear you. She's a little green around the gills.
Right.
So
Creature from the Black Lagoon reference?
Yes. Creature of the Night.
That's it.
There you go.
So, yeah, I'm very lucky to get the work I get, you know, because I started comedy early. Or late, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Started at 30.
How old were you when you started comedy?
I started at 30, which in the comedy world is ancient. It's
So I'm pretty much dead if I'm just starting now.
Well, Rodney Dangerfield started at 40.
Yeah, and he didn't make it till past 50.
Yeah, that's true.
But, you know, it depends on what your version of making it is. You know, to some
it's
band,
relative, yeah.
Yeah, it's whether music, comedy, you know.
Well, once you're on the Tonight Show, you're recognized.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it's, you know, I started late in life, but, you know, Seinfeld didn't really pop till his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was never a fan.
I've never watched one episode.
I didn't mind the show, but his stand-up I wasn't a fan of. It was just too, what is with all these people wearing socks? What's up with that?
I mean, I like the darker stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Darker socks?
Yeah, I wear dark socks. We should do a comedy, duo act.
Here we go.
I mean, there's worse ideas on TV.
Oh, it's true.
But I like Stephen Wright.
Oh, Stephen Wright was amazing.
I went out and got a decaffeinated coffee table, and somebody came in and broke into my house and they took all of my furniture and replaced it with exact replicas of what I had.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's like to me the Shark amazing. Island of comics. Like,
right?
He should have been bigger.
Yeah.
Speaking of Shark Island,
I'm a fan, even though he rejected me to be on my podcast. It's all good.
That's all right. Speaking of Shark Island, Alex Kane will be joining us, who's been playing. No, that's not Alex. Alex is biking over here right now, actually.
Are you serious?
And Alex is from Life, Sex, and Death.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So he's on his way. He's pedaling his ass over here because he lives close.
Who played Stanley in LSD? Stanley was the lead singer.
Stanley was the lead singer, yeah.
And he had glasses, kind of like yours, and he wore a really stinky suit.
Yeah, because he had this homeless gimmick, but that's really he wasn't homeless, but that's just how he was. He didn't.
It was one of the most amazing presentations I'd ever seen because there's this guy coming up there like some spastic, and all of a sudden, snap, and he's like doing all these holy, and he's like doing S's across the stage.
He kind of looked like Earl.
Yeah,
a little bit,
but
So
moved like Axl Rose copying Richard Black from Shark Island.
Right, exactly.
I was like, who is this guy? He's amazing. So I was going to say, is Alex and Stanley the same guy?
No, Alex is a guitar player.
Oh, okay.
Alex is a guitar player,
All right.
who was also the original guitar player in Enough's Enough.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did not know
We're
that.
really delving deep.
Yeah, we are delving deep. But you actually joined at a perfect time because we're closer to the same age. And we're kind of moving into the destroyer era right now because, we were talking Coventry. We're talking, I was, watching them grow up until fucking Alive came out and they exploded. And I didn't get into Kiss. I was 4 years old. I received Destroyer on Christmas when I was 4 in 76.
What a great present.
I know.
Getting destroyed for Christmas at age 4.
I know. At what point did you fall into them?
Well, I'm 49, so
Yeah, so you got me by 5 years. 4 years.
I just can't get the cover of Alive 2 out of my head. And, Love Gun. I really thought, Christine 16, I had no idea what he was singing about.
Nowadays, you get arrested for that.
Back then you could get a platinum album. Today you'd get 16 years.
Well, look at the song Going Blind.
Yeah.
You're 7. I'm
93.
So
you're
you're 16. That today would, the FBI would be looking at you.
Oh, yeah, and, later on, Winger, 17.
17,
right?
Yeah. But the history of older men and younger women goes back to to Europe, when arranged marriages between royal houses happened.
Yeah, no, it's just a Ted Nugent and Jailbait.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
But I really didn't get into Kiss till the 80s. I Lick It Up was the first album I bought on my own. And by on my own, I mean the $20 my dad gave me.
Right.
So that was really when I started. I'm a Mark St. John fan, for God's sakes.
Oh, okay. I played with Mark.
Oh, most people kind of forget his tenure in Kiss because it was so short.
Right.
Right.
Right. He was a really nice guy. Really nice guy.
Yeah, it's kind of, I met him once at a Kiss convention. It was
there was a band that came up from Texas. They were playing the Hollywood scene called Sweet Savage. And they played at, I think it was Jezebel's. Joshua's Jezebel's down in Orange County. And Mark was there. And they said, hey, you want to get up and do a song? And we did Rock and Roll by Zeppelin. And here I am on stage playing with Mark St. John. Holy crap.
Yeah.
And I got a picture of that.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of the era that I really became a super fan. 'Cause I was so young, I didn't really...
Right. Well, yeah, I was the same way. I was fucking 4 when I got Destroyer. I'm just like, I don't know what this is. I assume that we were walking through like a Shopko, and I'm like, what's that, Mom? And then all of a sudden, boom, there's Kiss Destroyer under the fucking Christmas tree. I didn't
It was starting to be depicted as superheroes.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
painting on the cover.
Now, as two guys that really got into Kiss in the 80s, what did you think after they took the makeup off in that era?
I had mixed feelings about that. It really killed the mystique, but they were also at a point where can we go with this from now?
Right.
At this point, we're, disco and the Elder and what was that? I was made for loving you, and I'm like, what are they doing? But you become a chameleon. You do what you can to survive, and people question the Elder and some of the stuff that was on it. And then here's Gene with his hair tied to the side with a little knot, and Paul with his little Kelly Reno Loverboy headband, and
Love it. Love it.
This is Ace. At this point, Ace is like, all right, you know what?
Enough of this, Carly. All right.
Yeah.
I can't hack with the disco. You ain't made for loving nothing. You ain't made for loving me.
I don't know. Vinnie Vincent came in, and I have really bad Vinnie Vincent experience. So
I would love to hear those.
Oh man, don't get me started.
Well, he ripped me off on the box set, so I'm not exactly even though I'm a huge fan, I have some problems.
All right, so here's what we're going to do.
Making a comeback.
Let that boil.
She is.
For a minute and a half. I'm going to play just a couple ads, and we'll be right back. We're going to hear these Vinnie Vincent stories.
Let that boil fester.
Let that boil fester. It's another fucking podcast.
Or
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
Retro Arcade brings Minnesota and surrounding areas arcade games from the days gone by. All of those great games from pizza joints and arcades are available in cocktail units and custom machines. Dozens of favorites from your youth in one machine to complete your game room or man cave. Retro Arcade also sells and services your favorite pinball machines. Find them at facebook.com/80arcade. That's facebook.com/80arcade. Retro Arcade. Your youth is just one click away.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tom Arnold. I like fat women and cocaine. And you're listening to Izzy Presley here on another fucking podcast. And I know Izzy from Cocaine Anonymous meetings. I've actually seen him at the meetings with Ace Von Johnson from, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but Ace has got a bad coke problem. And his sponsor is Josh Todd from, and again, I shouldn't say this out loud, but Josh is his sponsor for Buck Cherry. He's addicted to upskirt porn. And they're both being sponsored by the Eagles. The whole band, the Eagles. Anyways, another fucking podcast right here with Izzy Presley, and call your sponsor. Fucking A.
Pursue him.
All right. Oh, I love Craig Gass. That was Craig Gass doing Tom Arnold. That was not actually Tom Arnold, which I'm sure you figured out. Also, before we get back to this amazing Kiss conversation, please check out A&P Productions Laser Engraving Division on Facebook, and you get them on their website at aplaser.com. Mother's Day is coming up. Graduation's coming up. You need shit laser engraved. Flasks. Get your 18-year-old a flask for graduation. Here, put some Kool-Aid in it. Blue Kool-Aid. Whatever works. Or, mom's a drinker. Get her a flask. Get it engraved. Here, get drunk, Mom. Just get that engraved on there. aplaser.com. Great work. They actually do my roadie packs. I have one roadie pack left, which is everything in this roadie pack has the Another Effing Podcast logo on it. It's got a flask. It's got a dog tag. It's got the Zippo lighter gimmick, and it's also got a LED flashlight gimmick too. So $30. PayPal me. PayPal.me/Izzy Presley. Just send me $30 plus $5 shipping in the continental United States. I'll send that right out to you. Hell, I'll even sign it because I'm good like that. What can I say? And also, any donations made to the podcast through that PayPal.me/Izzy Presley, I will send you my voice giving your ways directions. And it's quite hilarious because I actually did it on the shitter.
I'm in. I'll give you $30 right now.
All right, cool. I don't have it on me, but I'll bring it to you.
I bet you will.
Yeah, I will, baby. Yeah, I will. Earl Skakel.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Welcome to Hollywood, Bubba. And Rik Foxx joining Talkin' Kiss. Onto this Vinnie Vincent conversation. I just had Stu Ham on the show a couple weeks ago, and Stu played on this cover of Dream On, which was Ronnie James Dio, Yngwie, Stu Ham, and I think Greg Bissonette on the drums. I think. Don't quote me on that. But he said that Vinnie, or no, it wasn't Vinnie, it was Yngwie. Never mind. This brought me back to you talking about being in a Steeler with fucking Yngwie Malmsteen.
That's right.
But anyways, I'll finish the story. But he said Yngwie played, basically, he soloed through the entire song. And what the production guy did is he just muted him when there was vocals, then he unmuted them, and then muted them, and then unmuted them, and it just sounded perfect.
That's kind of what Gene did to Vinnie Vincent when he played on Look It Up.
Really?
Vinnie would just blaze away, and Gene would would edit his solos so that it was like real simple stuff to keep the song the bottom line, not about playing solos through the whole thing. And it pissed Vinnie off. But hey, you know what? It's not your band, Vinnie. It's Gene's band, and you got to do it the way the boss says. You know, he gave you your break. Play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and don't drop the ball. I can't explain Vinnie the way he thinks. So then again, who can?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he dropped the ball multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple bands. I mean, how are you Vinnie Vincent and get kicked out of the Vinnie Vincent Invasion? That's like
right?
It's like literally like, it's impossible. But it's not with him.
Well, truth is stranger than friction. You know, about people getting kicked out of their own bands. You know, there's the gossip and rumors about me getting kicked out of my own bands. But it depends who's telling the story,
right?
And who's doing the listening. So there's two sides to every coin. I'm on a roll. Get the cream cheese. But yeah, you know, Vinnie getting kicked out of his own band. Well, you get to a point where it's like, all right, enough. Every song is a solo, beginning to end, beginning to end, beginning to end. We got to think about the song, not the solo. You know, it's about the song. The song is what sells the band, sells everything on. You know, you go to a concert, you're not going to go home remembering the solo. You're going to go home remembering the chorus. You're going to remember the presentation, the song. That's what it's, at least traditionally, that's what it's about to me.
Right. Oh, unless it was Van Halen.
Yeah, but Eddie still managed to keep it within the framework of...
Right. Well, I'm just talking the solo itself.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't solo through the whole song.
No, I'm just talking about his solo.
Which one?
His solo.
Whatever song.
No, his solo.
Oh, Eruption?
Yeah, Eruption, and when he did his whole 13-minute solo thing. And
funny story, before I heard about Van Halen, there was a three-piece band that used to come down from Buffalo called Talus.
Yes, Billy Sheehan.
And I spent my last subway fare to go to this club in New York that I used to do lights at called the Great Gildersleeves. And I sat in the front. It was almost nobody in the club. And I watched Talus. And I sat there with my jaw on the floor. These guys were fucking amazing. But they were, with the arrangements, the harmonies and everything. And Billy with the bass. And he does this bass solo. I'd never seen anything like this before. I mean, all we knew before this bass solos was Tim Bogert. Here's Billy Sheehan doing hammer-ons and arpeggios and all this other stuff. And then about a year or so after that, here comes the Van Halen album comes out in 78. First album, and there's Eruption. And Eddie's doing the solo. I went, wait a minute. That sounds like a guitar version of Billy's bass solo. And it was almost the same.
Really?
What I could remember, almost note for note. What I remember Billy soloing and Eddie's Eruption solos, like they were almost side by each the same thing.
Wow.
So I can't explain how it was that close.
Wow. I mean, fucking East Coast and West Coast, too. And it's like how...
I know Billy did a short stint, I think, with UFO when Pete Way stepped out, and UFO...
I did not know that.
UFO scooped him up. He did some gigs with UFO, and then he was out of that. So he was being exposed to mainstream, and people started talking about Billy Sheehan. You know, nicest guy. You know, he always made time to talk to the fans or whatever, and
Yeah, Billy's great.
Billy, what about the strings? Billy, what about your tone? What do you got in your rack? What's all the lights in it?
Rack.
Oh, I have this and I have that and I have this, and he's really beautiful person to talk to. So no star attitude. So he was easily approachable and to talk to. So and he would share whatever his knowledge about music with you. And it's funny. And years later, I go, I remember seeing your solo with Talus at the Gildersleeves. He goes, yeah, I remember that. And I said, here comes Eddie's Eruption solo. And he goes, yeah, that is kind of close, isn't it? So I don't know how that happened.
Everyone steals from everyone.
Yes.
It's a world of plagiarism.
That's right. Well, that's the fucking music business and fucking comedy, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's very...
Who have you stole from?
Nobody. I'd be a lot more successful if I was stealing from people. No one else was doing Stephen Pearcy solo band jokes. Because I have the best story about seeing him at the Whiskey in front of... And I'm friends with Stephen. He's good to me. I know some people he's hit or miss with, but...
Don't get in front of his Formula race car.
Oh, no, Top Fuel Records.
Yeah,
I just gave him a plug. But he was at the Whiskey playing in front of 8 people, and, the first song was a solo song, Vertex, I think, which was his industrial attempt, and he says to the crowd, "What do you want to hear next?" And I'm like, "Well, you don't have to yell, dude. There's 7 people in here." Like, literally, it was a few more people than this that are here right now. And I'm like, Rat. So all the rest of the show was Rat songs. So I'd become the musical director of the concert. And then he says, as they're doing Round and Round, and I said, that's Rat's big hit. He's like, "Hey, you guys are going to be famous tonight because we're recording this for a live album." And I'm like, that announcement's going to be on the CD. Like, who buys a CD of a live album that they're at? Like, it's not even over yet. So I bought it, and
of course.
How many times did they overdub the 7 people in the audience clapping?
Well, it was so bad that I heard my voice on the second song.
All right.
Not singing.
Did you get a royalty for that?
I was just telling my friend Rick I had to take a shit, and I'll be right back. Fourth song, you heard me taking the shit. You thought it was a bass solo.
Huh? I have a Rat story.
They're my favorite band, in full disclosure, so I would love to hear it.
Well, I had just got out of WASP. I got my walking papers. I was cut loose late summer of 82, beg your pardon. And I didn't know anybody here. I was trying to network, meet people. I was from out of town. I was from New York. Nobody knew me. I had no verifiable credentials beyond what I told people. I knew Kiss. I worked with Thor, in this band or that band.
You worked with Thor?
That was the exact... yes, everybody said that. Yes, I did work with Thor. We'll get to that. It's not a Thor never mind. It's not a Thor subject. Anyway, we used to put on these rock and roll barbecues. I lived around an apartment around the corner from Cantor's Deli.
Okay.
All right, and then we used to put the barbecue out on the sidewalk, and we'd invite all these bands from the clubs. It was a way to get to meet people, social networking before there was the internet age. And we'd throw like half a can of fluid on it and throw a match on, mushroom cloud, and everybody's yay, pyrotechnics. Who's that guy who did that? Rik Foxx. Okay, we got to remember him. Don't have him around the stage with fire. But I got invited to go audition for Rat.
Really?
I auditioned for Greg Leon Invasion. I auditioned for Rat at Piercy's grandmother's garage in Culver City. And I still have the demo tape of all of these songs with no vocals on them that they gave me to learn. Then I show up with my Ibanez Explorer Destroyer bass, and I had taken these little prism stars and covered the fret markers with these little prismy stars. And I walk in, and I'm playing, and at one point, Bobby Blotzer turns around and goes, "Hey, man, what's with the disco stars? I mean, that's got to go. And the thing with the pick, I can't just play with bass players, play with a pick. You got to play with your fingers, man. It's only fingers. It's the feel. It's fingers." He goes, "Real bass players don't use picks." I said, "You mean like Gene Simmons and Tom Hamilton and Paul McCartney, guys who use picks, So suffice to say, I didn't get the gig. Juan Crucier, my friend, he got the gig, and good man for it. Months later, here I am in Steeler, and our first show, my first introduction to L.A., it was at the Country Club in Reseda, and we're opening for Hughes Thrall. Glenn Hughes,
right.
Pat Thrall.
Okay, yeah.
And the Rat is in the audience. Everybody is in the audience. The Country Club is packed, and we do our thing, and of course everybody's watching with their jaw on Yngwie. It's like, who is this guy? Where did he come? Oh, look at the bass player. He looks familiar. He's all over the place. Wow, and in the leather outfit, but with this guitar player, who's this? Never mind the bass player. Who's this guitar player? It's like some kid up there wailing. Show's over. We're upstairs in the dressing room, cooling off. There's people walking along the hallway to the green room. Here goes Blotzer, comes back, sticks his head in the doorway, kind of like Morris Day did in Purple Rain. He stops, sticks the head back in. He looks at me. He goes, I said, "Not bad for disco stars." And he goes, he got this big, and turned red in the face, and whoosh, took off. He realized this was the same guy that auditioned for Rat, and here I am with one of the biggest bands in L.A. with Steeler.
Wow.
So that stops.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Kane has made
it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Kane has joined us. Life, sex, and death. He's a fucking shit ass. Is in the house. What? There's an extra microphone. You want to join us?
Yeah, and there's a seat too.
What a crazy coincidence.
Yeah. Let's get cozy.
Earl, say hi to Alex. Earl, can you check the...
Okay.
Make sure there's a on-off switch. That's high tech.
You see this guy here?
That's old school.
Sorry, I'm just a comic.
Now it's like now it's a stand-up microphone.
Yeah.
But you're
And
sitting
don't
down.
you forget
Is anyone
it now.
here?
It's a sit-down microphone.
I love this that we can actually hear the sound of our voice coming through the PA.
I know, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
You know what we can also hear?
Our voice.
We can also hear Pat Fontaine.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Pat Fontaine,
Who's that?
XYZ bass player,
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
French
I don't know who
douchebag
I
that I
am,
love.
so
Right,
fucking
right,
don't
right.
Who does?
So
Yeah,
we've been
right,
having
exactly.
a very
An
long
esoteric-
Kiss conversation.
Isn't that the name of a zipper? XYZ. Oh, that's YYZ. No, that's a Rush song.
No, that's a Rush song. Yeah, yeah, but they have zippers, so there's a correlation.
Just up and down.
Me and you actually played like a week ago.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, at the Lucky Strike Jam.
Yes,
Hey,
we
so
did.
did I. It wasn't a jam. It was my show. God damn it!
It was
Was it your show?
Our
I
show.
can't tell the difference anymore. Is this a show or a jam? What is this? Are we doing
It's a
comedy
sham.
or a riot? It's a sham.
I think we're kind of doing both.
We pulled off a sham in front of a live audience. Imagine
show and a jam. Yeah, exactly. That's
Right, exactly.
Or in,
So,
in the Middle East, this would be a shajem.
Let's get back to Kiss. Favorite Kiss non-makeup record?
Wow.
That's tough.
Okay, no, you're not. Creatures is considered a makeup album.
Yes.
Right?
What about Unmasked?
I'm gonna go. No, they still had that.
That's a great Cars
that was
album.
It was a
That
team.
was a good. Right. I used to love Steve Miller too, man. What was the? Oh yeah, right. I know what my answer to this is. Probably Revenge, but I swear to God, I would put Carnival of Souls a close second.
Really?
Yep.
Carnival of Souls. That it was
Yeah,
that
so
name again.
was that yours?
No. We were
No.
we were referencing the movie earlier
Right.
from
Oh,
some
from the-
pictures I
the
had
black
taken
and
of
white
Kiss that were like kind of the shutter speed was off from the flash. So
Okay.
I had these blurry pictures of Gene coming towards the camera, and it looked like the guy from Carnival of Souls with the white face. And the
Yes,
black
right. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So we referenced Carnival of Souls earlier.
Okay, yeah, that's. I think that's a. I mean, it's obviously derivative, and then like, right, we can do grunge too, right, guys?
And Gene loved the movie. So.
That's a great Stone Temple Pilots album.
It is, yeah. So is 11. That was my favorite Stone Temple Pilots album. Is that 2 Underground? That's the name of the first Pearl Jam album.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, let me make this. Let me lower
yeah,
the bar.
sorry.
Nevermind is my favorite Stone Temple Pilots album. Is that better? I love that song by Bush. Smells like Teen Spirit. Fuck those guys. I hate Bush.
I always thought Pearl Jam was a porn industry term.
I think it was.
It was a money shot term or something.
Wasn't the singer
Got a Pearl
in
Jam on
Pearl-
her head.
If not, it is now.
Well, we are near Van Nuys.
Oh, that's an excellent point.
That's racist.
I'm a realist.
No, racist.
Oh, sorry. One and the same.
Me and you should fucking... Actually, we should start our own comedy show. Fuck rock and roll.
Well, he is
No
a comic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. We've
Yeah.
established
That's
that.
how
I mean,
I
it's
have
yet to be
mine.
proven, but we've established it. But
I've played in front of bigger crowds.
I played in front of taller, but not bigger.
It's a great ambiance.
And if this was
in
red.
there.
No, it really is. Especially when there's people here. This is amazing.
I've
Yeah, really.
always wanted to know what playing in John Wayne Gacy's basement was like.
Right? And I'm from Chicago, so I know exactly what the
that's
decor is.
doing the research.
A lot of the basements the same in Chicago?
Well,
Check the
How
floorboards.
many basements have you frequented in Chicago? Tell us.
well, just John Wayne Gacy's, but it was against my will.
But you survived.
Yeah, well, you had to. There was like this thing where you had to like cannibalize. I don't want to go into it. It was a long time ago.
All right, so Carnival of Souls and Revenge.
Yeah,
Earl.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, I love the gayer side of metal, so... No.
There's a non-gay side.
Oh, absolutely. I mean...
Androgynous, they called it.
But, I mean, Crazy Nights, and I know most people are going to want me off this podcast.
I'm not going to sit next to this fucking guy. Crazy Nights. What is this? A frame?
I
sham.
just love Desmond Child and Ron Nevison, and... they were clearly trying to ride the Bon Jovi.
In dress and everything.
Yeah, I mean...
photographer, same photographer.
In Gary Corbett off stage on keyboards, but I just love the songs. My Way is one of my favorite Kiss songs.
It's a great tune.
But that's insane that a hardcore Kiss fan would be like, "You're crazy."
Yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was a cover.
He's got a song called "You're Crazy."
So,
I know he did. When you wish upon a star.
Well, I wouldn't put anything past Gene. If Polka was in, they would put out a Polka album.
Yeah, for sure.
True.
Yeah. So yeah, Crazy Nights for me.
Wow.
Rick?
There's been so many of them. I can't. I go back to the makeup as far as
right. But favorite non-makeup record.
But
Stop avoiding the question, man.
That's a tough call for me because I'd already moved on to other things by that
All
point.
right.
A lot of people did.
Of course, that makes sense. Yeah, because I was definitely looking for Kiss replacements once. It was kind of like, well, I mean, I already got the Bon Jovi album. What's this?
Right.
No offense.
Oh no, but you had like Rat was
Yeah,
huge,
like
and
Rat,
Motley
yeah,
Crue
yeah.
and Judas Priest was selling.
There's various controversies around some of the Kiss songs, like when they put out "Who Put the X in Sex."
Yes,
that
yeah,
was
I heard
actually
that.
I think a song that was submitted to them, and it was kind of ripped off or something.
Gene wouldn't do that.
What's that word again?
I read the story about it was the band that submitted that to them, and next thing you know, Kiss is doing the song. Also, if you know Paul Stanley is a huge Zeppelin fan.
Mm-hmm.
If you know where to listen, you'll hear the Zeppelin. The song "All Night"
Oh, I love that
is Misty Mountain Hop. Just a different speed.
But they didn't do a video.
Yeah,
wow.
Because ironically, Kiss Asylum is my favorite non-makeup record, and I'll tell you why.
Asylum, which one? That's the one
That's
with
in their
Bruce, right?
B. Arthur phase.
Yeah, but musically, that was in the B. Arthur phase.
No, I mean seriously, look.
Which one's Betty White?
Look up All Night or
Oh, yeah.
Who Wants to Be Lonely. It's like
Betty
you think
White's
you're
in
watching a Golden Girls flashback scene.
It is,
No.
but musically,
Yeah, but
that
the Golden
record,
Girls are hot.
especially Bruce Kulick on that record, there was always we should have a guitar player like Eddie Van Halen in the band. That Asylum record is what Kiss would have sounded like with Eddie Van Halen, and I fucking love
That's
it.
the one that starts with the King of the Mountain
Yeah.
or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That starts
Anyway,
with a guitar
slice
solo.
Drums.
Because there's one of those records where that Bruce is on that starts with him just shredding for like.
Well, that's No No No. by
Yeah, that
Crazy
is No,
Nights.
No, No,
That
No.
starts with
Is that the first
like a
song?
band. No, it's like it might be the first song on the second side,
Yeah.
but it starts.
I
with
would've had
like
the
a
record.
eruption
You guys
type.
remember the Kulick brothers joke, right? How do you
No.
tell the difference between Bob and Bruce Kulick?
No.
Bob's the one with the mustache.
I love Bob. I sat next to him during one of Paul's solo.
Oh, and then it's like the Priesty riff,
Great
right?
tone. Is that Eric Singer?
Eric Carr.
Eric Carr.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Anton Fig. My bad.
Yeah. Oh, good reference though.
Yeah, very good reference.
What do you think I'm here?
Right.
All right, so
Obviously,
we
for-
are
you
we
do
are
know your
actually
Kiss thing.
What's that?
I met Kiss when I was little, actually.
you know all the stories from him.
I don't.
That
Well, no,
he-
we've just met.
He was friends with Peter.
I didn't know
before
that.
Kiss. and
Really?
Saw them.
I dated one of his sisters.
Yeah.
That's actually cooler than actually knowing him, knowing that you.
Well, when I came to L.A., that's kind of like what people were attracted to me. Like, it's not knowing somebody who was that close to the band is almost as good as knowing the actual band member. And then there were people would be, oh, this guy, he knew Kiss, and all these people wanted to become my friend and I didn't know who these people were. I had no screening process in place. And here's a New Yorker who should have known better.
Yeah, sure.
So people associated me with Kiss, and all of these authors over the years did all of these stories about early Kiss, and none of them approached me or asked me anything about it.
So when were you in the?
Until Ken Sharp said, you know what, I want to put an end to that. And when he wrote the book, Nothing to Lose: The Making of Kiss, he interviewed me, and I'm in the book, and my pictures are in the book, and finally I've got validation. Well, yeah, Rick was telling the truth. I guess he was.
He was just lying about it.
And every time I put an anecdote about a memory, then they'd follow it with Gene clarifying or underscoring whatever I was talking about.
Oh wow, really?
So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Did you were in their circle up until when, or at what point in their development?
Probably after Hotter Than Hell.
Okay,
You know,
all right.
Hotter
So
Than
like
Hell,
right before the thing kind of went.
Yeah, before they broke.
Yeah.
Because I was telling Izzy earlier that I was at the Sunshine Inn in Asbury Park, and when they had the logo, the sign on the side of the stage because the ceiling was too short, and I had copied a photo of them from Kiss magazine standing around the bus stop sign.
Yeah, I remember that
and
one.
I painted that on the back.
On
the back.
Dress to Kill.
No, it was a photo. It was a photo.
But not this.
But it was around the Hotter Than Hell era.
Okay.
When they were walking down Manhattan, the streets of Manhattan. That
all right.
photo
So
session.
that, okay, not that.
And then
right.
Paul's up at the top of the bus stop sign,
Yes,
and they're all
of
kind of
course,
leaning
yeah.
against it. And I painted this on the back of a denim jacket, and then I painted the cover of Hotter Than Hell on the back of my friend's denim jacket. This is before rock and roll jackets.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and in England, you got the new wave of British heavy metal. Everybody's bands on the back of jackets. And Gene saw this after the show. It grabs me by the shoulder, drags me over to Bill O'Connor, and says, "Look at this guy. Look at what he's doing, Bill. Guy, because they called him Guy. Think of the marketing. Think what we can do with this." You know, and then he said, Bill says, come up to my office on Monday. We're going to talk about this.
I'm sure.
You know, and of course on the way out, woo, whoa,
me too.
And then I went back to Peter's mom.
Bill touched me.
And I said, Bill grabbed my butt and squeezed it. She goes, "Oh, watch out for Guy. He likes the boys."
All right. Well,
it was the 70s.
I was naive.
When in Rome.
I didn't know that there were people who were gay in the music industry.
Yeah.
It was shocking to me.
Really?
And then I started working, as I was telling Izzy earlier, with another band Sean Delaney put together called Spike.
Okay.
And the bass player was openly gay, but in New York, gay people were not flamboyant.
That was not Peter Sweevil, was it?
It depends which part of it. Some were swishy and flamboyant, and some were just the butch type. And Tyrone, the bass player, he was just, as a matter of fact, like, yeah, I'm gay. Like, really? You're gay? Oh, yeah, I love to suck. Wow. Yeah, don't worry about it. You're safe. Like that.
All right.
I didn't know that this existed in rock.
Yeah.
I thought it was all testosterone male.
Yeah.
Well,
it is, but just from that perspective.
And except for Freddie Mercury.
And the Village people.
And the Village people. All right. I hate to do this, but we do have to wrap up because
come on, man.
our lovely sound gal
you.
has to get going. And we got to make sure that she can get all tore down here, and I can get all my shit tore down.
What about our
Rik
solos?
Foxx,
Yeah.
Earl Skakel.
Oh my God, he said it right.
I did. Alex Kane. Alex, what do you got coming up, music-wise?
Leave Tuesday for a tour
With
with
who?
a broken hand, kids.
That's right. You're hardcore. Well, who are you playing with?
The tour is the Bullet Boys, Enough's Enough, Pump 5, and 20 Spot. So it's 4 bands, yeah.
All right, cool. Eric, yes, I
Bob,
know.
whatever.
Jesus Christ, and I'm sober.
Jobs,
Premieres
9 away.
tonight, season 2 of I'm Dying Up Here on Showtime.
I saw the ads.
And more. There's going to be another season of the Comedy Central
the
Roast Battle.
Jellies Roast Battle is coming up over the summer, and I'll be opening up for Kane Roberts in Temecula. I'm just kidding.
what are you opening? That's the question. The word for today is legs. Help spread the word. What are you opening for?
No pain, no cane.
And the podcast is called Inappropriate Earl.
Thank you.
Please check that out, and please come back. We'll get you in studio. We'll sit down because I want to get your whole story.
And I apologize for being late.
Oh, dude, it's all good. You had priorities. You had the fucking show premiere party. Oh, geez.
I left talking to a girl with huge boobies that thought I was funny to do this podcast.
You're welcome.
Stayed and named them Izzy and Presley as you were coming on them.
That's not happening. I'm not, as I'm coming, thinking of you.
If you can make a woman laugh, you've got her.
And
Rik Foxx.
Almost sexist.
Oh, absolutely. Where's the singer from King Cobra?
Yeah, right. All right, thank you. Rik Foxx, thank you. What do you got coming up? Anything music-wise?
I got my well, as they say, I got a lot of irons in the fire. I hope to be doing something shortly with Jack Russell. I don't know. We're still talking about that. I do have, I got invited by Jim Crean, New York rocker, works at the Appice Brothers. I'm going to be recording a track on his upcoming album. As soon as Robbie Lochner's off the road, I'm supposed to record with Vinnie Appice's drum tracks.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I just got signed to TTM Guitars.
Nice.
Which is nice.
Nice.
And a pro player art just did me a custom-made screen for my amp.
Nice. That's right. I saw that. That's very cool.
And I got Christina Avila in Connecticut doing my press and promo. So
there you go.
I'm trying to cover all the bases.
I need someone to do that for me. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. You guys know anytime you are more than welcome to come on. My name is Izzy Presley. It's been another effing podcast. Thank you, Meg.
Thank you, Meg.
It's a pleasure to come on, he said.
Meg, she's great. Thank you so much for the other door. Hopefully they'll have us back and we'll have more people here. But I don't care. We had one loyal fan. Make sure you do check out all the social media. Real Izzy Presley on the Twitter machine and Instagram, and also Izzy Presley 1 on Facebook, and another effing podcast on Facebook. Go buy stuff. Send me money. PayPal.me/ Izzy Presley. I'll send you my ways directions. They are quite hilarious. I did them while I was taking a shit. It was awesome. See you guys. I do love you all, and would you kindly go fuck yourselves?